How's it going, everybody? For today's beer review, we're going to be taking a look at Mikkeller Beer Geek Breakfast, a breakfast-styled stout with coffee. So this is Mikkeller Beer Geek's Breakfast Stout, which is an interesting kind of beer, and the reason why is because this is one of the very first original beers that kind of got me interested in craft beer as a whole. When I very first started researching into what craft beer was all about, this is just one of those beers that popped up that I was like, oh, I'd never heard of something like that before, because, beforehand all I knew was domestic beer. So it's always been one of those beers I've kind of been on the lookout for, since it's the ones that kind of got me into the whole thing, and so I'm very excited to finally have found it and be able to try it. Now, what's interesting is, by the artwork and the way it's presented and everything, you would think this would be like a craft beer from a microbrewery in America, but no, this actually comes out of Norway, of all places, so that's really interesting. Most European import beers that come over, you can always kind of tell because they're not in English, or those are from obviously Germany or Belgium, but this one's from Norway. It says, product of Norway, 7.5% ABV. Just a smidgen on the low side of where I like my stouts. I usually like them 8 and above, but they have a pretty good reputation, so I think it'll probably be okay. Not really much information here on the bottle. It just says an oatmeal stout brewed with coffee, and it has some pretty simple but nice artwork on there. It has kind of like a pitcher of coffee and a little glass back there. So without further ado, let's get the cap off of it and give it a pour, a smell, and a taste. I'll be drinking out of my Duvel snifter glass here. It's my favorite glass for drinking stouts out of. Alright, I'm not going to worry about saving the cap. It's just a plain silver cap, and I've already got one from a different beer from a different brewery. I would never know the difference. Alright, straight out of the bottle. Almost actually it's very close to pitch black. I'm going to pour this right down the center here. Wow, now that looks fantastic. Formed a nice finger of very dark burnt caramel colored head. That's my favorite color to see on a stout. Up into the light, pitch black, not even getting the faintest of ruby or mahogany hues on the edges. It's just pitch black. Wow, now that smells incredible. Tons of coffee, obviously. Little bits of very dark, bittersweet, kind of German chocolate or baker's chocolate. Picking up on little things like milkiness, small light touches of caramel and vanilla. But the coffee is what really stands through, and obviously lots of chocolate malt and the likes. Let's give it a taste and see what Mikkeller's Beer Geek Breakfast Stout is all about. Wow. Now that is like nothing I have ever tasted before in a breakfast stout. Up front, you think it's going to start and develop like a your normal kind of sweet, little chocolatey notes, but it immediately punches and hits you with just this bitter, almost smoky black coffee. Very high quality black coffee, but there's no beating around the bush with this beer. It's not a caramel macchiato or a vanilla coffee. No, this is strong, rich, like Arabic style black coffee. This is probably the closest thing to an actual breakfast coffee substitute that I've ever tasted. There's a few stouts out there that claim to be breakfast style stouts, but so far this is the one that just sells it on the breakfast coffee point. Yep. Sweet, kind of bittersweet chocolate up front, and then it just very quickly, boom, hits you with that rich, robust, dark, strong, bitter coffee taste. Lingers for a while too. It drinks like coffee. I mean, that's just crazy. As far as the rating goes, I'm going to give this beer, it's going to get a really high mark. It's going to get a 9.7 out of 10 because it 100% delivers on what it's advertised as. And that is advertised as a breakfast stout. Seriously, you could replace your coffee with this beer. It is fantastic. Never tasted that much just like identical taste to a real cup of coffee, or with that much flavor of coffee in it before. That's crazy. So that is Mikkeller Beer Geek Brewery's breakfast and oatmeal stout brewed with coffee. Highly suggest you guys seek this one out and give it a try, especially if you're a fan of stouts, because I've had no other like it as far as those coffee tastes go. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the review as always, and stay tuned for the next one.